Hi, I'm Stephen King, CEO of Growth Force, and you're watching our nonprofit guide to making data-driven decisions video series. In this video, we're going to talk about step 3. How do you define and figure out the drivers that create the best and the most outcomes? You start by figuring out what are your outputs. Those are your programs and your services that you deliver to your clients. Your outputs become your primary organizational drivers of outcomes. And if you need to study the outputs to figure out which are the ones that deliver the most outcomes. And that's how those become your key performance indicators, your KPIs. That's what you should be looking at. There are two ways to be able to measure the outputs and the outcomes. First is a non-financial way. Ask your program managers to measure the efficacy of each program, the effectiveness of each program. Which of the programs contribute the most to your mission? And stack rank them to see which ones drive the outcomes that you're looking for. The second is to set up your accounting system to be able to understand the economics of each program and the economics of each service. Those are your financial measures, and you need to look at both. You need to view the revenue and the costs of everything that you do. Those are your unit economics. You want to be able to look at the gross profit for the programs, for each service, and for each client if you can. Gross profit is the most important concept in understanding unit economics, and that's the revenue that you bring in for each of the services or each of your programs, if any, if you get paid for program income, minus the direct cost to deliver those services, the direct labor, the people that have to deliver those services, their fully loaded costs, and your direct materials, anything out of pocket that you need in order to deliver your product, program, and services. And this is what drives cash flow. A lot of nonprofits have a problem with the cash flow. And often it's because they don't understand their gross profit. They don't understand what it really costs to deliver each of their programs and each of their services. And as a result, you can have a successful program that serves a lot of people, and the more successful you are, the worse your cash flow gets. So you want to look at this by program, by service, as well as by looking at it by client. And the way you start is by understanding service units. Break all of the programs down to services and all of the services down to individual P&Ls. You want to be able to look at the revenue and the cost for each of your service. So for example, in the homeless shelter, the best way to break the cycle of homelessness is by having someone go through the vocational training, specifically a 6-part course. So you figure out the unit economics of that service, of that program, by adding up all of the costs for your vocational training program. Then you divide that by the number of clients that are served each year. That'll figure out the cost per client served. Then you divide by the number of sessions that those clients come, and you come up with a cost per session. And by understanding the costs, the revenue minus the cost to deliver each service, you can compare the financial and unit economics of each of your services to the outcomes in each service, and you can see what are the outcomes per dollar spent or the outcomes per dollar raised. And that shows you which of your outcomes, which of your programs are the most effective use of your limited dollars. And it'll also help you with your donor questions. You now have the ability to answer donors, how will you spend my money? How will my gift make a difference on the world? By sharing your client and your program and service economics with your clients, it's a real powerful way to be able to show them exactly what kind of return on investment they get from their contribution. So to recap, to figure out which are the drivers of the best and most outcomes, start with your outputs. What are your programs and your services? Then study which of those programs and services impact the outcomes the most. Then look at the drivers of those outcomes. You look at the non-financial efficacy, the effectiveness of each program, and you look at the financial driver, the unit economics, to see how much it costs you for every dollar that you bring in. And this allows you to compare all your programs and see which ones help you achieve the most outcomes for each dollar. And it helps your donors understand how their contribution will make a difference in the world. I hope you'll watch our next video, Step 4, how to build a management accounting system to help you make data-driven decisions.